This is Veliko Tarnovo, the old capital of Bulgaria, and this is the front door of the Stambolov Hotel. The view from the back, from the balconies in their rooms, is across the valley of the river Yantra. So these are some of the views you can get from a balcony if you stay in this hotel. We haven't managed to stay in it for some time. We stayed here regularly between 2007 and 2011 and then found it was getting fully booked all the time, so we've been elsewhere. Their rooms are extremely individual and each one is different, and if you manage to get in here you'll have a most interesting stay. I decided to walk down the cobbled road to the riverbank and past this lady on the way who was trying to drum up some business for her little guest house. Thank you for waving. These old cars, mainly Volvos, they're not there anymore, but obviously there was a collector dumping them here for some time. There are some substantial properties along the road by the river and a couple of old bridges. One is pretty famous, the one that we often do photo shoots on. This one is not as well known. In fact, I couldn't find any trace in the tourist guide for this, but as you can see there are some people looking over it and it does have some interest. That's all from the riverside for now. Time to make the trek back up the path into the town centre. A couple of months ago I showed you my friend Colin's house in Tserova Koria. He's selling this house and we've made a return visit since the barbecue that I showed you last time to check the property is okay, which it is. And somebody's obviously been keeping the garden down, don't know who that might be. There's a few little jobs need doing, one of which was to the roof, but in general, as you can see, the house is in good condition. It's all stone and woodwork. Since these pictures were taken, Colin has removed the furniture and taken it to his house in Oresh. But it's still for sale, this house, just outside Veliko Tarnovo, and there's a bus service that goes into VT itself. He's looking to get in the region of 60,000 lev or 30,000 euros or near offer, or in pounds I suppose 25 grand. Anyway, that's the kind of figure for this house, which is more or less ready to go in Tserova Koria. Another house for sale now in the village of Dabravino, not far from Varna, and this one hasn't been done up, so you can put your mark on this one and of course start off with a cheaper price, around 15,000 levs for these two buildings on a couple of acres of land. The land seems quite well cultivated. The pictures have been sent to me by the owner and some work has already been undertaken by the look of it. There's a couple of new windows I spotted and some timber around for doing other work. I also spotted that maybe some plaster work needs doing, and one of the ceilings in particular has got a plaster collapse. You can see as we look around inside that there's some decorating needs doing, and the plaster work becomes more obvious. Anyway, you can do your own decorating, you can put your own paints in here instead of the traditional Bulgarian green. Just get your internet connected up and you're away. This is a great home with a huge plot of land. A couple of other features I particularly like. This triple window lets plenty of light in, and it's a feature you don't often find in Bulgarian houses, which are often quite dark inside. Also outside there's a great feature, there's a well, and the well is quite deep by the look of it, as the photographs show. So a couple of interesting things to look at here, and I don't think there's as much work to do on this one as there has been on some of the houses that we've been involved in. I fired up Google Maps and got a couple of pictures of the village itself. There's a river running along the edge of the village, as you can see from the map, and it's about 20 miles as the crow flies into Varna from the village. Now, most of you aren't crows, so I put Google Maps onto a road route, and that turned out to be 45 kilometers, which is, I think, about 28 miles. There's a story behind this modern Siemens train, which is on its way here from Svistov to Oresh, but I'll have to deal with that another time because it's a long story. So into Oresh we go, and the house that we've been following now for a year or so, Davey had found that the kitchen floor was cracked and there's a new floor in progress. Most of the work during the last month, though, has been done on joining these two buildings together, and I remind you that there was a walkway between, because we took our camera through there to see the new bathroom being built at the back. Well, now they've knocked a hole in the wall so that they can do the work without climbing through a window, because they've actually sealed off the central section now, and the complicated work here that you see basically joins the two roofs together. You get a better picture if you stand back behind the property, because that's where you can see what's happened with the two roofs and how they've been joined together. The only other way of doing this was to completely rebuild the roof, and of course we try not to spend too much money on these old houses. So once the area between the two buildings is secure and dry, the rest of the walls knocked down and the work to open up the whole house inside begins. There's also work going on outside to improve the frontage and give a front patio area, but I'm sure we'll see more pictures of that another time.